Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen. Thank you again for joining. My name is Josh Wise. I am the VP of Client Services here at rezStream. For those of you new to the webinar, my day-to-day roles are I'm responsible for everything related to clients and the services in which we offer, whether that's the reservation software, our website solutions, or our marketing services. And you guys can learn more about all of those on our website, rezstream.com. The purpose of this particular usability webinar, which we try to do once a month, is to help you better utilize the reservation software that you're paying for, get the most bang for your buck, and make sure that you're aware of all the features within the solution. I try and cover relevant topics and things that are coming up frequently amongst our client base, as well as try and cover any new releases that come out within the product. We always record these webinars, and we try and get them posted within 24 48 hours after the session ends. So if you can ever not make it, or you attend but you're busy and you need to step away, we always record it so that you can go back and review it whenever it's a good time for you. In the upper right hand corner here, you'll see this bell icon, and if you click on this, you can go to view latest news and updates for those of you unfamiliar. And we always talk about big new features here. We always post all releases here, so you can see everything that we're working on. And this usability webinar is where we actually post the recordings themselves. So just become familiar with that in case you ever need to review anything. Now, before I kind of jump in today and what I'll call a smorgasbord, if you will, want to talk a little bit about the pandemic, as well as the impact it's likely having on your business. rezStream, as you know, we support small independent lodging properties. So our business has certainly been impacted by this as well, because we're supporting you guys, and your guys' business has been impacted by the lack of travel, lack of reservations. So hang in there, guys. I know you're doing the best that you can, and things will bounce back and turn around. And I know people are going to be traveling like crazy because we're all cooped up. I know my family and I are ready to get back out there and get after it and go on vacation as soon as this thing's over. So have some hope and stay as positive as you can. Now, I've talked to dozens of people, clients, and I know that this is likely happening to the majority of you, where guests are calling and they want refunds, they want their money back, and things of that nature. So some things to think about here is, and I've seen a lot of clients have success with this, instead of instead of giving a refund and giving the money back and canceling the reservation, you may think about adjusting your cancellation policy and holding on to that deposit for cash flow purposes, allowing those people to rebook or change their reservations. I've got some clients that have seen very good success with that by allowing people to book up to 365 days into the future. So that way you can keep that money, you keep the reservation on the books, but you're giving the guests flexibility to be able to change that reservation based on their timing and how they're dealing with this pandemic. So that's one option. I've got other people that are turning that deposit into a gift certificate to be used for the foreseeable future past 365 days. So that way, again, you can keep that money for cash flow purposes, so you can sustain your business, your property, you pay bills, you're not having to close down doors or anything like that. So I've seen great successes across the board with that. Keep in mind, these people have made a reservation, they want to come stay with you. And maybe you play it by ear depending upon the situation of the particular guest. Maybe they're in dire straits, financial crisis, and they absolutely have to have that money back to survive. So maybe making some adjustments there as you deem appropriate or necessary. But again, just sharing things that other clients have done and have seen good positive feedback from their guests who are trying to call and cancel reservations. Whether you're allowing them 365 to change the reservation to a different date once things calm down, or whether you're turning that into a gift certificate and allowing them to reuse those funds for a reservation for some point longer than 1 year out. So some things to think about. Okay, I want to jump in here and I want to talk about a recent release in which we did here. So if I pop in here, you'll see that. Let me see, let me jump in here. So in this latest release that came out a couple weeks ago, we have the ability to delete some point of sale items. So for those of you that have been on the system for a while, or even back to the beginning 5 years ago and have point of sale items, that's kind of been an annoying thing. Which we've been able to kind of come out and handle there as well. So we'll cover that today. But first, what I want to start with is I want to start with a letter code that we came out with, which I think is nice. And I want to maybe get you thinking about some things. So we came out with a letter code, which is terms and conditions. And terms and conditions apply to your online booking engine and online reservations. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to come down to our navigation into the booking engine, and we need to navigate down to stay conditions and policies. And this is where our terms and conditions are going to be located, okay? So for those of you using a booking engine, you should have this in place already. If you do not, now you know where it's at. And these are things that typically stay the same, but every now and then new things will pop up and you'll want to add them in here, whether someone's trying to get around the system or maybe your verbiage wasn't that clear. But nonetheless, let's make sure that these are in place first before we're going to be adding this letter code of terms and conditions to any of our letters themselves. So once we navigate to booking engine, stay terms and policies, we update our terms and conditions. Then we can come down into our letters. Okay, so we'll jump over to our configuration section from the main navigation. We'll scroll down to the bottom, emails and letters, and we'll see our letters and templates here. And then within any existing letter and or any new letter in which you add, you can now add this new letter code. So I'm going to jump in here to my confirmation letter. And if I scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see I've got the last thing that you see here is kind of my cancellation policies. And then you kind of see me close this thing out. Well, maybe what I want to do down here is I want to add my terms and conditions. And instead of me having to type those things out, I come over here to my letter codes, and in the search, I can type in terms, and you'll see it'll pop up business terms and conditions. So if I click on this here, it's going to add that letter code over here, right? And so what this is doing is this is kind of giving you an overview of where you need to go to set these things up. But what I've done is I've now added this letter code. And as you guys know from adding other letter codes within your letters, it's automatically going to pull, those terms and conditions in which we just looked at, right? And so those things are now added here. Now, the reason why I think this may be relevant is I've had a bunch of people asking for some advice related to the pandemic, related to COVID-19, and kind of how they need to protect themselves here moving forward. So something to think about is once things return to normal and as you start getting reservations, do you need to have some verbiage in here for liability reasons, protecting you and your business? Something along the lines of, as you travel to our property, we take these steps to prevent this particular virus. Please know that the property will not be held liable for anything related to COVID-19 or conditions that may arise. Maybe you need some verbiage around those things. I think it's maybe a safer than sorry type of scenario. I mean, I don't expect people to claim that they caught this virus at your property once things kind of turn around and start suing you like crazy. But you never know, and the topic is coming up. And I think us releasing this kind of terms and conditions letter code is maybe good timing as it relates to these types of things. So maybe be thinking about that. And if you need to add any verbiage into your letters, terms and conditions on your booking engine, on your website in general, I don't think it's a bad idea to let people know the cleaning measures that you're taking as a business. I know when I go out for my essential needs to the grocery store, what have you, there's verbiage, signs posted and things like that to try and make me as a consumer feel comfortable. So I think you as a business helping these people once they start traveling again, I think having some type of verbiage around on your website, terms and conditions, is a good thing to do, okay? So you've seen how I update those terms and conditions on the booking engine. You see how I add the letter code. Now, if I save this and I jump back here, To my dashboard, I've got a reservation here for Tina. If I click on this and I go to a letter, and I've got that confirmation letter in here. If I scroll down to the bottom below where I kind of close things, cancellation, close, as I showed you, here's now my terms and conditions and that letter code that it's pulling. So keep in mind, mine are kind of long and wordy. If you have the same thing, maybe you don't want to slap it at the bottom of the letter and now they're trying to print it out and they got to print out 18 pages. So be thinking about how you want to use that and if that does in fact apply. I know a lot of people want this in their email communications to the guests, so that way they're just letting them see it as many times as possible, because a lot of times when people book online, although they click the box that said they've read and agreed to the terms and conditions, you all have experienced someone showing up and complaining about your cancellation policy, or I didn't know I couldn't bring my dog, I didn't know I couldn't bring my kid, or whatever it is, right? You guys have all been there. Just because you kind of force people to do it doesn't mean they're paying attention. So again, this is one other way to kind of get that in there. Okay, so that covers that. Next thing I want to talk about is what I showed you in that latest release, which is deleting point of sale items. So the way in which we get to our point of sale items, they're in our configuration. So from the main navigation, I come down to configuration and I scroll down under rates and taxes header, which is our POS or point of sale items. So when I come in here, guys, I'm now going to have the ability to delete a point of sale item. So I'm just going to pick a random one out. Let's say ski lessons. I offered ski lessons long ago. Now I don't want to do it anymore because I no longer have a partnership with the mountain or whatever it is, right? So if I come into this particular point of sale item, and you'll now see up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll now see this red delete button. So that should be consistent with other areas in the system in the upper right-hand corner where you've been able to delete items. And if I click to delete this ski item, you'll also notice this kind of pop-up dialog box. And what this is, guys, is this is a safety measure. I call it, are you sure you're sure, kind of a measure here, because we've got a lot of people that have accidentally deleted things in the past and they're calling us up and they're asking us, can we go into the back end and undo a delete? Well, it doesn't really work like that in most cases. And so what we have is, are you sure you're sure? And we're trying to put in big red letters, you know, confirm that you want to do this. Here's what you're deleting. This cannot be undone. And then we kind of make you type in the actual words itself before this final delete box will come up. So again, it's are you sure you're sure? And it's not to annoy you, although maybe some of you may view it as annoying, especially if you're going in and trying to mass delete a whole bunch of crap. This is just to make sure that you're really processing what you're about to do and its impact that it could have, right? So after I go through this and I type in the actual words to confirm it is I do want to delete, and I've got some skin in the game here. Once I delete that, it's all gone, and now that ski lesson is no longer there. So pretty self-explanatory, something that we wish would have been in place a little bit sooner, but we did get to it here based on your guys' feedback. And so for those of you using point of sale items, which is hopefully all of you, because point of sale items are a great way to increase your total ticket order instead of just raising your prices so that you can still be competitive with competition and give your guests an enhancement on their experience. This is a nice feature. Now, one other thing I want to show you here within this point of sale items deleting is, let's say I go in to delete an item, but this item is tied to a package, okay? Now, we've got this little notification down here. This item is currently in use, so dinner for two is currently in use with the following package or packages, and it's saying that please note items cannot be deleted while in use with the package, okay? So we want to make sure here that you're not deleting something by accident that's tied to something else that maybe you forgot. So if this is something you want to delete, you would need to go to the package itself. You would need to remove the specific point of sale item in which you'd like to get rid of because you no longer offer it. And once you remove it from the package, then you can come back here to the specific point of sale item and you'll be able to delete that. So showing you a couple ways. It's now easy to delete a point of sale item. If you try to delete an item that's tied to a package, you need to remove it from the package itself before it will allow you to delete that item, okay? So that way it's just making sure that you keep everything in order so that way you're no longer in the future offering a package with an item that you no longer offer, then you're having weird conversations. So it's our way within the system to just kind of have checks and balances in place to protect you from forgetting something or making any mistakes. Okay, so that covers the deleting point of sale items, and I'm about maybe halfway through. I try and keep it to 30 minutes or less here for you guys. Something else I want to talk about here is I've had some clients reach out to us and they want to make particular units not bookable online as it relates to the pandemic and things going on or changes in their business. So I want to kind of walk through a couple ways in which you can kind of think about this, okay? So I'll start with the first way, which is just making a unit not bookable. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to navigate to the configuration area through the main navigation here. We want to come down to our units section where all of our units are, and we manage our units. So if I come into my units, and then here you'll have a list of all your units. And over here, we kind of give you kind of a quick glance of all the units that are bookable on the booking engine with a nice green check mark for go, yes, you're good, or units that are not currently available on the booking engine with a big no, a kind of circle X thing here. So it's pretty visual without having to dive in another level to double check things. But if I click on any of these units here, guys, I'll have this toggle button, which is allow booking via the booking engine. So if I simply toggle this to no, I do not want to allow, and I save, you'll now see that this booking, or excuse me, this unit is no longer available online on the booking engine. And then you could go and you could check your booking engine as well, just to be double sure. But once you make those changes, this unit is no longer bookable on the booking engine for whatever reasons that you need. Okay, now one other way to kind of think about this that I'd like you to consider for those of you, for whatever reason, that are taking units offline during this time is we have what's called an availability only mode, okay? So let me just show you real quick my booking engine. I want to show you what it looks like first of all. So if I jump in here, so this is my demo booking engine, right? So I've got my step one here, I enter my dates. So this is a live booking engine, okay? This is what most of you have. And as you'll see here in my booking engine, I've entered my dates, the 30th through the 2nd for 2 nights. And as I scroll down here, I have the ability to book, right? This is a live booking engine. This is what most of you have, okay? This is standard industry stuff, right? So I can select here and I can go through that whole process and I can book that unit. But something that our software offers, which is very flexible and convenient, is we have the ability to set our booking engine on display only. So let me find where it is. Okay, so if I come down here within the booking engine section through the main navigation and I come down to booking settings, this very first option here, booking engine mode, allow reservations is live, which means that your booking engine is going to display your availability based on your occupancy map. And if that unit is available for those dates, you're going to allow them to book it like I just showed you. Well, if I change this thing to be display only, and I save this configuration, what that does is if I go back here to my booking engine and I refresh this and I enter those same dates, the 30th through the 2nd, I will still see that the pontoon unit is available, right? Like I just did. But I won't be able to actually book that unit as I go through. We do not currently accept online reservations. Please call to book. So let me go back. I don't think that refresh was there. So you'll see that I can have this unit available. So what this allows by availability only is it allows people to see the units that are available 4 times of purchase. But basically what you're saying as a business is you need to call me here. So when I click this button and it throws that message up, you need to call me. So we showing availability from the occupancy map, but people can't actually book because of all the crazy times. So for those of you that are thinking about, because of the pandemic, taking your units off of the booking engine and just not having them available, well, people, as things start kind of turning around, they've got their stimulus package, whatever, and they're planning for the future and they want to spend some money, let's not completely remove the ability for them to book or make a commitment or even do research and see what's available. Let's turn this thing to availability only mode where they can still see what's available. And there's going to be a message that's saying, hey, we're not taking online reservations, but you got to give us a call. And then they'll reach out, pick up the phone, and give you a call. So it's just another way to kind of maybe make some adjustments for those of you thinking about shutting all your bookings down for the future and still letting people see what's available and still allowing people the option to pick up the phone, reach out to you, give you a call, and make your reservation, okay? So again, the way that you make that change is through the booking engine, booking settings, and you can kind of adjust this here, and then just remember to save it when you do. And so just so I don't forget, I'm going to turn it back to on and save it. But guys, that covers several things today. So just kind of a recap here. We talked about updating terms and conditions, which is through our booking engine, state conditions and policies here. And then once you kind of have those the way that you want it, or maybe you update some verbiage related to COVID, if you want to, you can now add a letter code through our letters and templates through confirmation. And by coming over here and searching on the word term or terms and conditions, you can now add that letter code as we did here, and we showed you how that would display. We also talked about through the configuration section, we talked about deleting point of sale items. When we jump into a point of sale item, we'll be able to delete those, and any point of sale item that's tied to a package, you need to remove it from the package before you can delete it as a check and balance. Lastly here, we talked about the booking engine display only mode through booking engine, booking settings, and adjusting that. So for those of you making adjustments to the business, you now have another option, another flexible way for people to still see what's going on, what is available, pick up the phone and call. So just keep that in mind as well, okay? So that concludes today. I appreciate you guys coming and showing up. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you guys are staying healthy and safe out there. If you guys have any questions or needs or concerns, please reach out and let us know. We're here to help out as a partner for you guys. So nothing's off the table. So anything we can help out with, let us know. Appreciate it very much. Thank you guys for your support and your loyalty to rezStream, and hope you guys are doing well, and take care. Stay healthy. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.